But like it says in the scriptures, in the last days, there are going to be people just partying and celebrating like there's no tomorrow. Like nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change, and it's going to continue. No matter how many signs of the times showing that we are in the last days, not just the last days, but the last of the last days, keep exposing themselves and showing themselves. People are still la 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 la. Okay. The same ones will be the one crying and screaming like the ones in Noah's time, beating on the door, begging them to open the ark. God shut that door. And God shut that door for a reason, because he didn't want them on the inside to feel pity on those people and try to open the door and let more people in. Once the door is shut, the door is shut. Period. And there's a lot of people who are going to get some rude awakenings. Let's see how your rose-colored glasses work then. Don't worry, be happy. Okay. You have no responsibility. You have no accountability. Okay. Let's see how that plays for you. This was testing ground. The scripture said God was waiting for us, giving us time to grow up so that he could separate the wheat from the chaff. Because when those plants are young, all the way up until the time of harvest, you can barely tell them apart. Well, the time of harvest is right on top of us. And no matter how a person look or how godly or religious someone may appear to be, God says a tree is judged by its fruits. What are your fruits? What fruit do you have? Do you have any? Or are you barren? And will you be cast down like the tree, the olive tree, when Jesus went looking for food and there was none to be given? And he told that tree to wither and die, and by the next morning that tree was dead. Is that where your fruits are? Dead? Everybody wants their ears tickled. Nobody wants to hear real truths. You go to churches now, pay money for an entertainment show, like going to the movies, going to the theater. And I'm sorry, a lot of people might have a problem with what I'm about to say, but any preacher who's still celebrating holidays that were for deities, God's a jealous God. And you're going to celebrate holidays for other gods? Again, I ain't telling nobody what to do. Do what you want to do. But see how it plays out. People think God is playing games with them. People think God is going to be tolerant forever. Now, those of you who are parents, you know we love our children. We give them all kinds of grace, even when they don't deserve it, out of love. But we also know there comes that time when you're not going to tell them one more time. Not one more time. You're not going to give them not one more chance. They've had all the chances they're going to get. You all know when it comes to that point. And even if you're not a parent, as a child, you know when your parents said, okay, enough of this. Because clearly you're not getting the understanding. So we're going to just have to do this differently. The scriptures say the events that are to come are like none other seen before in time. You know that's the last days, because God says there's nothing new under the sun. Everything we experience has been experienced 1,000 times before. Everything we've seen, there's nothing new under the sun. It's a reciprocal. It just repeats and repeats and repeats. That's one of the things about time that a lot of people don't understand. Time is kind of on a loop. And timelines intercede and cross one another But that's a whole nother subject that's very complicated without physically drawing it. But the bottom line is, time's up. You've had all the time in the world to hem and haw and make excuses and play games and do what you want to do despite what your parents asked you to do or what was asked of you. And if that is your choosing, God doesn't want you to choose anything that you don't wish to choose. He doesn't want you to begrudgingly do anything. Do you? But do you understanding the consequences of your actions? And that's where the misguiding of a lot of churches and preachers and teachers come in, because they tell people, do you, be you, just do whatever you want to do. And there's no consequences. If you said these words in this prayer, then you're forever. There's nothing else required of you. I don't know what scriptures he's reading, but you better read them again. For everything, God says, when you do this, I'll do that. When this happens, this will happen. Everything is, every action has an equal or greater reaction. Every action is matched or multiplied. That's why the scriptures say, whatever measure you meet with man, good or bad, it will be measured to you again. Pressed down and shaken over, shall men give into your bosom. He says tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, good or evil. So we can play stupid. We can play like we've never heard these things before. And those who haven't, then there are places you can go to learn more. I will teach you more. However, I'm not twisting anybody's arm to do anything. I don't do it with my own children. I will give you a message. I will give you information. Whether or not you receive it, now that you're adults, it is your prerogative to choose. Of course, I would like you to choose what is in your best interest and what is in line with God's wisdom and words and ways that leads to everlasting life. Yes, of course, I want you to choose that. However, you can't serve God for me. When I was younger, I initially served God for the sake of my children, because my children were under my covering, not because I particularly had a relationship with him. I didn't even have a relationship with myself. You can't love anyone or anything beyond your capacity to love yourself. And I hadn't learned that yet. I was young. I didn't know the value of that yet. I was young. But I did know the value of having a hedge of protection, a covering for my children. So I serve God to the best of my abilities so that my children would be blessed, so that my children would prosper and live in safety, and all the blessings and goodness and kindness that I could bestow upon them through God. And he never failed us, not once. And I could tell you some stories, miracle stories, things that a lot of people don't believe, but there are too many witnesses. That's one of the things I like about when God did things in my life, not for show. Because again, I'm a loner. I don't care what people think. I don't care about all that kind of attention stuff. It doesn't really mean anything to me. It doesn't resonate with me. But it backs up my story. It gives me people who can corroborate what I say or what I said happened. Because this person was there, they saw it too. So I like that part. But I had to come to a place in my life where it was just me and God, to where I had to trust him completely with my life multiple times. And even when I was on the edge of death multiple times, I actually lost my life in terms of flatlined more than once in my life. I actually bled out once in my life. Actually, twice, technically, because one was during the surgery. And I lost too much blood and they had to pump a bunch of blood, not blood, but plasma in me. I don't take blood. But, and get things working again and functioning again. And when I woke up, I felt fine. I didn't even know anything had happened. I'm looking around and everybody's eyes are big as saucers because they were so afraid I wasn't going to wake up. That's why when people say stuff to me and I say, God's got me, God's got me. God's got me. He's had me. He's brought me through so much stuff. I can tell you miracle after miracle stories that people would, again, believe are impossible, can't be true. But medical records, witnesses, it's documented in records, things that have happened. By all intents and purposes, I should not be here, but I am. I should not have survived multiple things, but I have. He has never left me or forsaken me.